The Arizona Wildcats beat Bradley. The final score, Arizona Wildcats 90 to Bradley 60. Um, what I saw was that it was I don't think it's Trier. I think that's his name, Trier. It was a Trier show, pretty much. Whenever we played against Pacific and whenever we played against Chico State, then Trier for the Arizona Wildcats he couldn't buy a basket. He was had a heck of a time. But the thing about it is he has a lot of confidence. He knew that I think that he knew that it was going to happen. His shots are going to start falling after a while, and today's game didn't really seem to a whole lot different. He just pushed through it um, like he had been doing on the other games. But this game, when he pushed through it, then he started to make some more and more shots, and you know, he ended up with 22 points, but 14 of those points were free throws. So the really positive thing about Trier is that he can dribble penetrate. He's not afraid to dribble penetrate. He's not afraid to get in there and push it around. And I mean, he doesn't doesn't necessarily knock down his shots whenever he's contested inside the key. Whenever he does those dribble penetrations, but he does um, uh, you know like you saw tonight, he does knock down those free throws consistently. He did tonight, definitely. 14 for 14 from free throw land. I think what was it? Matt Muehlbach was saying that the top most amount of free throws in one game was 16, 16 for 16 from somebody I don't know, but Miller took him out before that for some reason. Um, Miller, the coach for the Arizona Wildcats, was kind of pissed off because last time, whenever the Arizona Wildcats played against Pacific, I can't remember what Pacific their mascot is, but the Pacific team, they played against them, and the U of A had a 25 point lead or something like that. And then he said, I think he threw in 4 freshmen at one time, and whenever he did that, then the score dipped down to, I think the U of A was leading by 14 or something like that within a couple of minutes, probably a couple of minutes. So he was, so Miller was pretty upset about that. He said he's not going to do that, make that mistake again. So this time, I think he kind of harped on the guys, harped on the players, and said, hey, if we get a good lead, stick with that good lead, and don't let it evaporate like that other game, like the past game against Pacific did. So anyway, the U of A was ahead a very, very small amount. Bradley was doing very well. It was 7 all at one point, and then it was I think 10-13 or something like that. And so, it was a close game right in the beginning for most of the first half. But it was pretty close. But then the Arizona Wildcats just the first half they shot 1 for 10, I think, or something like that from 3-point land. Gabe York was having a heck of a night. Elliot Pitts was having a hard time too. I think Elliot Pitts ended up with 1 for 4 from 3-point land. But the thing about Pitts that was really cool about him is he had 7 assists tonight. So he definitely made up for his lack of shooting ability with his assists. He had more assists than the point guard, Jackson um, Cartwright. Um, it's Parker, was it Parker Jackson-Cartwright? Yeah, PJC. So anyway, so Pitts had more assists than Jackson-Cartwright, and so I think Cartwright had 6 assists and Pitts had 7, and I think that Kadeem Allen was having a hard time, wasn't having so much of a great night, because he only ended up with like 2 assists. But then Anderson, Ryan Anderson, I thought he was having a crappy night too. But the thing about it is with Anderson, he does stuff that you just don't notice. You just don't notice he didn't get 12 rebounds like he did against Pacific. I think he got, what was it, 6 or 8 or something like that, rebounds. But anyway, he did, he ended up with like 15 points. So he was the second highest scorer for the Arizona Wildcats. I think Trier had 22, and then Ryan Anderson, I think he had 15, and there was a couple of people had 11, and one person had 10 points. I think Tarjewski had 11 points, and then Gabe York had like 10 points, and I want to say that it was Jackson-Cartwright that had 11 also, but I'm not sure if it was him or, yeah, I think it was him. So anyway, so it was like Pitts made contributions without making those shots, those outside shots, and we depend on Pitts to make those outside shots, those 3-pointer shots, and Gabe York, we definitely rely on him to make those outside shots. I think he made 5 3-pointers in one of the NCAA games last year. So it just, I think they were 1 for 10 or something like that in the first half, and then they ended up with I think 5. They made 5 3-pointers. Tollefson, the big man for the Arizona Wildcats, he made 1. I think Jackson-Cartwright made 1. Let's see, Pitts, I think he made, I think he made 1, and then Gabe York, I think he made 2. So that was the contributions from the 3-point man. As far as the rebounds, I was looking for something that was the reason why the Arizona Wildcats, because the Arizona Wildcats had a lead in the beginning, in the first half. I think they were leading by, like 6 points or something like that. It wasn't very much at all. But then in the second half, the Arizona Wildcats scored like 51 points, and Bradley, I think, scored 27. The Arizona Wildcats did 44 points, made 44, and then Bradley had 27 or something like that. So anyway, I was looking at the discrepancy. Why was there such a discrepancy? And well, you had one of the major contributors had 8 points. He fouled out, and then there was another guy that I can't remember how many points he had, like 4 or 2 or something like that. But I think that he fouled out, and then there was another guy that also fouled out. And I'm wondering if there because there was a guy that had like I don't know, was it 7 assists or 4 assists or something like that for Bradley, and I wonder if he fouled out or not. I'm not quite sure about that. So anyway, none of the Arizona Wildcats fouled out tonight. Kadeem Allen, I think, ended up with 4 fouls. I think he was the highest amount of fouls for the Arizona Wildcats tonight, and so we had some guys that just weren't feeling it tonight. York wasn't feeling it so much in the beginning. I think that I don't know who was defending Suggs for Suggs with Bradley, because he scored, I think, what was it, 17 points tonight or something like that. He did a really good job. So whoever was defending him, they need to work on it. Somebody in the Arizona Wildcats was defending against Suggs, and it wasn't working out because Suggs was still getting his shots. I think he shot 50% from field goal percentage, and I think he shot 50% from three-point land, 2 for 4 or something like that. And then with his free throws, I think he made 3 for 4 from free throws. So he did a good job with knocking down his shots. It didn't really seem to, whoever was defending against him didn't really seem to get into his head. But let's see, that's about it. That's all I have to say. Pretty much the Arizona Wildcats beat Bradley tonight. The final score: Arizona Wildcats 90 to Bradley